Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you today with some bad news. It is with a heavy heart that I report that Kathleen Kennedy may be stepping down from Star Wars. Her current contract is about to expire, and therefore her presidency is as well. So mark your calendars for sometime late in 2025 as the day that music died. Let's talk about this news. Hey, before I jump into this hard-hitting news, if you wouldn't mind firing up the lightsaber and just slashing the crap out of that subscribe and the notification bell, I would appreciate it. In 2012, Kathleen Kennedy joined George Lucas as co-chair to Lucasfilm. Shortly after that, Disney acquired the company for $4 billion, and then Kathleen became the president of Lucasfilm. Now, while some may be saddened by this news, I think there's a small amount of people on the internet that will be absolutely jubilant. Because what's happened to Star Wars over the last decade has been nothing shy of an atrocity. And the focus of the hatred almost always finds itself squarely on Miss Kennedy herself, or Kathleen Kennedy, as she's lovingly referred to. I think it's worth noting that this woman has been a producer on a bunch of really good projects, mainly a lot of Steven Spielberg films, as she was the co-founder of Amblin Entertainment. She produced Jurassic Park, E.T., Indiana Jones, Twister, War of the Worlds, The Bridges of Madison County. So it is a shame that she sullied her reputation and is going to go down as the person that single-handedly destroyed Star Wars. Well, her and Ruin Johnson, let's not forget Rian Johnson's contribution. Now, I think it's a team effort, and she took a lot of the blame. Now, I'm not defending the actions of one or a company in a whole. I do think that this was heavily mismanaged. Star Wars is a beloved property. It's not just movies, it's merch, it's games, it's everything. And for some unhealthy fans, it truly is everything they have going on in their life. I think it's also worth noting that A Force Awakens is the highest grossing Star Wars film and one of the highest grossing movies ever made. But after that, the films would go on a steady decline. I think Star Wars is tricky because George Lucas made the original trilogy and he gets all the credit in the world. But then he also made the prequel trilogy. And he gets all the credit in the world there too, for better and for worse. There's a lot of fans that absolutely hate them. I do not like the prequel movies. There's a lot of fans that love them. They grew up with them, and that's perfectly fine. But this new trilogy was to bridge the gap. And while I think it started out promising, albeit familiar as all hell, it would just get lamer and lamer as the films went on, with no inspiration, nothing creative or new brought to the table for the most part. And instead, we're left with this lifeless husk of a property, with a bunch of TV shows and spin-off crap that nobody really cares about. The legacy of Kathleen Kennedy, and more importantly Disney, is not good when it comes to Star Wars. They've diluted the brand. While yes, the prequel films did not work for me, they at least had a vision that I thought was entirely misguided and did not align with the previous trilogy. These are different vibes in these films. It's a different tone. There's a different look and feel to them. But with the Disney stuff, it's just more, constantly. There's a new film coming out, or there was for many years, or a TV show, and it was wildly different in terms of quality. And I think that's the big problem, is I even mentioned it myself. Star Wars is a property. Disney spent $4 billion on this cash cow, and they want to see a return on investment. So they're not looking at this thing like Lucas did originally. He was trying to tell a story. He was trying to create an art form. Art is subjective. The Mouse King is not looking to make art. Instead, hoping to profit more than anything else on the name itself, the brand. George Lucas was a visionary when vision was scary. We did not have someone like that helming the Star Wars ship. That's where Kathleen Kennedy really struggled. She comes into this presidency previously being a producer and an executive producer on films, but now you have to make huge decisions. She had to determine the best approach for her film franchise, and while again, I think Force Awakens was a smart play, financially speaking for sure, but also to bring fans in, both young and new. But after that, it was a string of terrible decisions. The fact that this trilogy, the sequel trilogy, had the original characters in it, but they were shells of their former selves, didn't get to interact with each other, and the three movies didn't even have a narrative flow, a cohesive arc, That's just bullshit. And it just goes to show, even with all the money in the world at their disposal, even with all the talent they can bring in, without that key vision, you have nothing but soulless projects. And the worst part is every time something did work, it would immediately get discredited by a later thing. I mentioned Force Awakens. The Last Jedi ruined all the goodwill of that film. You have The Mandalorian. A lot of people loved it, I myself included. By season 3, that's completely shot because they decided to tie it in a season 2.5 with the Book of Boba Fett. Another pile of shit. Ahsoka? Maybe it's good. I don't know. I had no interest. That little Star Wars Goonies show? Nobody watched it. I kid you not. I was at MegaCon and it was depressing seeing the stars of that show there. No people were in their lines. I almost walked up there just to be like, hey, I watched half an episode. It seemed pretty okay. I heard Andor's good. More like And Bore or And Snore. I couldn't get past 3 episodes. Wake me when it gets exciting. I know, that's the good one. That's the coveted one. I like Rogue One, okay? I do like Rogue One. I understand this is kind of a spin-off of that, a prequel to a prequel. Try explaining that to someone trying to get into Star Wars. Hey, what's the order to watch this thing? Well, you're gonna want to start with episode 1. Oh, actually, no, you're gonna want to watch The Acolyte first. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. And after you're done with the gay space witch ladies, head on over to Star Wars episode 1 through 3, then watch Andor season 1 and 2, which are prequels to Rogue One, which is a prequel to Star Wars episode 4, aka New Hope, aka Kill Me. And all of this shit show aside, the fact that there's been like 4 other movies announced in the Star Wars universe that have yet to see the light of day is troubling. And I wonder at this point if Kathleen Kennedy's going to get any of them out the door before she walks away. There's supposed to be a Rey film where she trains young Padawan warriors or something. James Mangold is supposed to be doing some old Republic film. Star Wars episode 10, 11, and 12 is supposed to be happening at some point, but they keep misfiring when they're going to start up. It's just not good. And lest we forget, Star Wars is so big, Disney has so much reach, that these bad decisions have also affected other shows. Look what happened to Game of Thrones in the final season when it was rushed out the door because those 2 asshats were promised they could make a Star Wars trilogy and then shit the bed on that anyways. So both things destroyed in the process. Congratulations, you played yourself. You know, if you want to really see what Disney Star Wars truly is, head on over, actually scratch that, watch some YouTube videos of what Star Wars Land looks like at the once beloved, now completely ruined MGM Studios, aka Hollywood Studios. The entire $1 billion Star Wars Land consists of a bunch of boring rocks, maybe a speeder thrown in and the Millennium Falcon, and you'll see a couple stormtroopers walking around in a really bad Rey cosplay. This is what they came up with because they really have no idea what they're doing. Now, I know it's not popular to say anything nice about J.K. Rowling, but she did have a vision. She knew exactly what she wanted when it came to not just the books, the Harry Potter movies, and the theme park. You go to the theme parks at Universal and you will be swept away in the magic because they are lifted straight from the books and the films. You go to these iconic places like Gringotts, like Diagon Alley. Hell, you get a massive close-up view of Hogwarts. Over at Disney, where there's no vision at all. It's rocks. You get a sad attempt at maybe a little bit of Endor, but there's nothing. Where's Hoth? Where's the snowy ice caps? Where the fuck is Tatooine? You know, where pretty much all these movies at some point in time go back to. There's no desert section at this place. Why is there no futuristic city section? This was just not thought out well at all. And that goes along with all the Disney stuff. Are they making a bunch of money? Yeah, of course. Could they be making more? I think so. And not only that, set aside the financials. What about the fact that they have bled their fans dry? I have 2 kids who don't care about Star Wars, and that's a sad thing to think. I loved Star Wars growing up. I don't really give a shit about it anymore. And that's entirely thanks to the Mouse King and Kathleen Kennedy. So, She's leaving. I don't think she'll be missed by any, and it's a shame that this is her final little swan song. And there you have it, my thoughts on her departure. I'd love to hear from you though. Where are you at with this? Do you think she did a great job? She really righted the ship that was wronged years ago by the prequels, and it's all been gravy from there on? Or are you like, no, yeah, bye Felicia, let's try something different. Let's find someone with some passion, someone with some energy and some heart and some skin in the game. Let me know your thoughts. Please like the video and think of subscribing if you haven't. I post tons of movie content, reviews, live streams, and the occasional just reaction video like this. Would love to have you stick around. All right, take care. Thanks again for watching the video. If you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it if you checked out patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. That's where fans of my channel go to help support it. There are different tiers with different offerings, exclusives every month. We got multiple movie reviews. There's a vlog monthly. And even if you don't want to plop down $1 a month, you can just sign up for Patreon for free and become a member at no charge. Appreciate your time. Thanks.